What's the most impressive pickup line you've ever heard? So this happened at the airport last winter. My flight from Miami to Seattle got delayed by like 3 hours, and I was stuck at this cramped gate with a bunch of angry passengers. Everyone was on their phones complaining or trying to rebook. I found this empty spot near the charging station and plugged in my phone. Right next to me was this girl around my age reading some thick paperback book while eating trail mix straight from the bag. She looked pretty chill compared to everyone else freaking out. When the gate agent finally announced our flight was completely canceled, the whole place erupted. People started shouting, and this massive line formed at the customer service desk. It was chaos. The girl next to me just sighed, closed her book, and started packing up her stuff. I noticed she had the same destination tag on her bag as mine, so I asked if she was also trying to get to Seattle. She nodded and said she had a job interview the next morning. We ended up chatting while waiting in that horrible customer service line that wrapped around the entire terminal. She told me about her interview at some tech company, and I complained about missing my cousin's wedding. We bonded over how expensive everything was at the airport and how we both forgot to bring snacks. The line barely moved for like an hour. At one point, she made this joke about how the airline should just give everyone free pizza for the trouble, and I actually laughed out loud. Not like a fake, polite chuckle, but a real laugh. That's when I looked at her and said, "Hey, do you believe in compensation?" She raised an eyebrow, totally confused. "What do you mean?" I grinned and said, "Because even though this airline owes us big time, meeting you already makes this whole mess worth it." She burst out laughing. Not that fake laugh people do when someone tells a bad joke, but genuine laughter. She said that was actually really smooth and way better than the usual airport small talk about weather delays. Before we even made it to the front of the line, we had already exchanged Instagram accounts and decided to grab those overpriced smoothies from the place near Gate B12. Turns out we both loved the same Netflix shows and had similar taste in music. We got rebooked on the same flight, leaving 4 hours later. When boarding started, she deliberately chose the middle seat next to mine instead of her original window seat 3 rows back. During takeoff, she said, "I guess the airline did something right today after all." We spent the entire 5-hour flight talking about everything. She told me about growing up in Portland, her college roommate who collected vintage postcards, and how she was nervous about the interview because it was her dream job. I shared stories about my chaotic family and how I was dreading explaining to my cousin why I missed walking down the aisle as his groomsman. When we landed in Seattle, neither of us wanted to say goodbye. She had to catch a hotel shuttle for her interview, and I had to grab my rental car. But before we split up at baggage claim, she said her interview was just a half-day thing and asked if I wanted to grab dinner that evening. That dinner turned into walking around Pike Place Market until it closed. We shared a huge slice of chocolate cake at this tiny cafe and talked until they kicked us out at midnight. The next day, I ended up changing my flight home just so we could spend more time together.